oh my God, I woke up today and I sweat like a pig. Have you heard about that?
There's someone in the waiting room.
Oh, someone in the room. Sorry. Thanks, man. Have you ever heard of that? I woke up like crazy and I sweat like a pig. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sweat like a pig tu macam peluh gila-gila lah, lencun lah. Have you heard that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Fatimah, macam ada pernah dengar, adalah sambil orang cakap. You know that term is actually not true. You know why?
Pigs don't sweat, I think.
Don't sweat. Exactly. So I don't know how on earth they say sweat like a pig. Pig doesn't sweat at all. That's why pig ni, they have toxin buildups all over their body. So it's not sort of that's why I think for Muslims, no offense to other religions, that's why Muslims for Islam we really forbid for us to eat pigs. Right? And then lastly, okay, this is not DNA lah. Lastly, did you know all tigers are Asians? There's no such thing as tigers, European tigers. There's no such thing as American tigers. If you say a tiger, that tiger is Asian tiger. There's no Mak Saleh tiger. Because tiger only
Maybe that's why.
Mostly in India lah. But no such thing as tiger from America. There's no such thing as tiger in. They always stays in Asia part. If you see tiger outside Asian, it means that tiger is just transported. Tiger doesn't belong in outside Asia. Yeah. So when it comes to Jungle Book tu tipu lah. Dia bukan daripada American pun. So it's Asian. So I just screw up your childhood memories, doesn't it? You're welcome. Okay, continue. This one sikit je actually. Okay, but slight needs a little bit more of explanation. Okay. Regulations. The moment you, Afia, did you record dah?
I am.
Afia? Okay, thank you. So regulation, what does it mean the moment you hear regulation?
Doctor, there's someone in the waiting room.
Oh, Cassandra. Itulah Cassandra. Okay. All right. Anyone else? Okay, thank you. Regulation. The moment you hear word regulation, what does it mean? Rules and regulation. What's the first thing comes to your mind?
Things keeping it in order.
Huh?
So an order of something.
Yeah, sort of like order or something. What something, Mariam? Senang je. Something.
Like what keeps the regulation running because of the rules and regulations.
What keep the regulation running? Would it be what keep the regulation running? I thought we are learning about biochemistry running, not the regulation running. I'm just teasing you. Yeah, kind of like that. So regulation in terms of when you talk about regulation in biochemistry, every process in biochemistry are controlled and regulated. There's no such thing as everything, all the biochemistries within your cell system or within your whole system, living organisms is just turned on, right? Imagine this. Imagine if you're in a house, right? You turn on all the switches, all chargers, all TVs, everything. What did it happen on the next day? Faham tak? If today you turn on every single electronic things in your house, lampu, kipas semua you on, what did it happen the next day?
Bilik naik.
Huh? What?
Bilik naik, doktor.
Sorry, come again?
Bil
Kalau korang
elektrik
turn on lampu satu rumah korang, apa jadi the next day? What do you think happen the next day?
bil naik.
Huh? What? Apa Ezra?
Bil elektrik. Naik.
Bila aktif naik, yelah tu. Memanglah bila aktif naik. What you think okay, let me just be more specific. What do you think happened the next, what will your father do or your mom do or your parents do to you the next day?
Marah.
Angry.
Marah baiknya your parents. Kalau ada kena halau.
Bebel.
Keluar rumah sekarang,
Kena bebel.
Betul tu. Kena
kena
tampar.
halau rumah. Suka hati kau je buka semua benda. Oh, senang-senang kau je. Membazir. Such a waste, isn't it? Okay, for cells, they have to be very, very smart. If you think your phone are smart, if you think your smart TV is smart, or whatever smart things in the world, it cannot be compete with living organisms, right? It doesn't require any processor. It doesn't require any sensors. It has its own interactions and sensors. Okay, because cells, they have to be regulated so that all the biochemistry process within that does not turn on all the time. It only turns on and turns off if it's needed to and if it's required to. Okay, so hence, this is what I call this any kind, not only limited to DNA, RNA, all these center dogma, but any type of biochemistry process. Okay, so this is regulated at transcription level. This is what we related to DNA. Okay, feedback control. Okay, when you say regulated, means that it's either turn on or turn off. Itu saja. Okay, feedback control. Feedback control is end products speed or slow down the synthesis of mRNA. Enzyme induction or inducer, reactants or substrate induce the transcription process. Okay, feedback control ni ada feedback control ni ada produk tu either dia turn on lagi laju atau dia slow atau stop. Kalau inducer ni ada benda tu, dia akan induce the process. Turn on lah. Okay, there's a lot of process of regulation within our body. Nanti I'll ask you each and every one of you to find out example of regulation within biochemistry or within cells. Okay, nanti I'll remind you again. Okay, in prokaryotes, okay, bacteria and archaea bacteria, transcription is regulated by an operon. Okay, ada control operon. A functioning unit of DNA containing cluster of genes, okay, whereby it has a lot of genes under the control of single promoter. Okay, this is called lactose operon. In here, banyak type of enzyme as well that be controlled. Okay, so the lactose operon of a control site and the gene that produce mRNA for enzyme. For example, like this. Contoh macam ni ya. Okay, transcription factors when there is no, okay, RNA polymerase is ready. Ini nak transcript from DNA to RNA, okay. RNA dah ready dah, dia kenal promoter, nak lalu je, nak baca ni. Suddenly, there's an area whereby during your reading of your RNA, like I said lah, this is start of a gene. Whichever that comes or RNA bind, that can produce mRNA. Okay, once it produces mRNA, this is the area called repressor mRNA that can produce a protein called repressor. Repressor has the ability to bind at operator site. Okay, here. Okay, once it binds, they can block RNA polymerase so that RNA polymerase cannot transcribe this coding. So no point lah. Because why? Because at this time, lactose tak ada. Kenapa kau nak turn on? Why you want to turn on galactosidase or permease or acetylase? All this enzyme that is required to break down lactose. For what? Membazir. All these waste, it cannot be tolerated because cell needs to be worked in the most efficient way. Okay, so when lactose is present in the cell, some lactose combined with repressor, which remove the repressor from the control site. Okay. If you look here at the figures, okay, dah ready dah, ada repressor, or repressor nak bind. Suddenly, your lactose, which is called inducer, or we call enzyme induction, okay, it binds with your repressor, become inactive, so that your repressor cannot bind to here because the active site is being blocked. So just floating around, yeah, floating around, and then your mRNA, your RNA polymerase has the ability to transcribe all this coding region, produce their own mRNA, and produce beta-galactosidase. That this beta-galactosidase can be used to consume or break down or digest lactose. So what happened when lactose is not, once you punya The moment every time ada lactose dia akan produce ni. So the moment bila you minum susu, like your lactose, everything has been fully consumed. There's no more lactose. When there's no more lactose, repressor will be freely. There's no complex inactive repressor. It backs to here. So meaning that bila you minum je lactose, your enzyme for lactose digestion will be turned on. The moment you stop drinking lactose, it won't produce any galactosis. This is all due to, right? This is all due to the productions of, due to regulation. Okay, faham? Any question tak? All right. Another example would be of this, for example, katakanlah, okay, bila you, I'm not going to talk about the punya mechanisms. These are called mechanisms. All this drawing is mechanism. When you consume sugar, glucose, or nasi, right? The available glucose, most of it, some of it are being secreted throughout your blood vessels, okay, salur darah. Some of it transport to your brain. Nanti you learn detail with Dr. Hafiz, yeah. So what happened to the remaining glucose within your body? Makan nasi lebih kan? So what happened to the rest of that? Excess glucose, you buat apa?
Isn't it stored as glycogen?
Stored as
Glycogen, is it?
glycogen, yeah. It's stored as glycogen. So it's similar to this. The moment glucose is available, insulin will be produced. Okay, the more glucose available, the more insulin will be produced. This is what I call positive feedback inhibition. Meaning that the more substrate that you have, the more turn on that particular coding or sequence will be. Okay, faham tak? So the moment your glucose finish, then there's no point producing insulin. Because there's no glucose needed to be processed. This is called positive feedback inhibition or inducers. Another one whereby negative feedback inhibition is whereby at that time you have very high amount of ATP, right? So your sugars convert to produce ATP. But at that point, when ATP is too high, okay, and we're not doing anything, so your ATP will become the repressor, right? Your ATP will become the repressor that say, hey, tak payah dah burn glucose ni, we don't need more ATP because we're not working out. That is called negative feedback inhibition. However, in a different case whereby you are running, you use a lot of energy, at that time you think ATP akan stop producing or produce more?
Produce more.
Produce more. Why?
Oh.
Because at that time you needed the ATP, right? So ATP are continuously being used. So there's no excess ATP that tells the beginning reaction, say, hey, stop. Because there's no one telling you to stop. Because ATP are continuously being consumed. So ATP now does not become the repressor or negative feedback inhibition. Faham tak?
Yeah.
Clear?
Yeah.
All this will be much more I think you understand much more once you go into regulation of glycolysis or glucose digestion with the Hafiz later on. Okay, so what I want you to do, find out any type of examples of feedback or negative feedback inhibition or positive feedback inhibition, a type process in your just Google it, anything related to biochemistries. And then next class, I'll ask you randomly. Okay?
Okay, Doktor.
Boleh? Can? So I asked Randy. So just prepare. I'm gonna ask you about the hairpin. I'm gonna ask you about the intron some more, example intron some more, and the other one lastly, I'm gonna ask you about the feedback inhibitions. Yeah. Okay. So Rachel,
Yep.
just now I mentioned to the class. I'm not sure whether most of you heard it. I mentioned to all the class last slides are the 2 links of CRISPR and genetic modification. Please, all of you watch it, and on your final weeks, I'll ask you some of it for you to. We can discuss a little bit about it, the use of genetic recombination and genetic engineering and CRISPR. Okay, Rachel? Just
Okay,
remind
Doctor.
all this, all right, and then everything that we discussed today. All right, class. We stop here and then we finish up the rest of the slides on our next class. Any question before I end the class, or some of you guys might be excited to share your fun facts because we still have a couple more minutes. Anyone wants to share? Tak nak dah. Nak balik makan. Come on. Share lah, fun facts, fun, doesn't it? Things that even I don't know.
I have
Mariam.
my hands, sir.
Siapa? Selamat, Mariam. Norman.
My fun fact is about the bacteria.
Okay.
So average cell phone has 100 times as much bacteria as the toilet seat.
What?
Average cell phone has 100 times as much as bacteria as a toilet seat.
Oh, okay. The average bacteria count on your cell phones, on your handphone, is how many times?
100 times.
100 times.
Yeah.
So it's safe to say we can put our face in toilet bowl lah.
Maybe.
So instead we have to wash our hands holding our mobile, but we don't even wash our hands. Okay, we wash our hands after we go to the toilet, or we don't wash our hands after we texting each other. Alright, that's disgusting. I'm not sure about you guys, but I use sanitizer all the time lah. So I think pretty much my handphone is pretty safe lah. All right, Mariam, you got something? No, you don't find anything interesting?
No, yeah.
Yeah, what is it?
Wait, give me a second.
Yeah. Give me a second to Google something. Yeah, go ahead.
Wait,
Busted.
does it include anything, right?
It can be anything.
Okay, so fun fact. Strawberries aren't really berries, but bananas are berries. And that's why we use the term that when like a Chinese person doesn't really know like Chinese are called bananas because they're like imposters. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the moment I call, oi, banana, like if we call Chinese banana, means it's offensive words.
No, it's like a rough term because like when we don't really understand Mandarin, like they call it, I don't know why, but they call you a banana. And like the science behind it is because bananas are actually berries, while strawberries aren't actually berries.
Why though? Why say bananas is berries? Bananas is bananas.
No,
you make me
bananas
go
because
bananas.
it comes. Wait, I know this. Give me a second.
Cassandra, can any Chinese verify this? If say that, if I say you banana, it means you're imposter. Is that it? Can any Chinese verify this? Even you don't know.
No, isn't a banana that means that a Chinese that can't speak Chinese? From what I know that.
Chinese that cannot understand Chinese.
That.
English.
Chinese that can understand Chinese. So you call them banana.
They call, I don't.
What's in Chinese called in banana? What do you say in banana?
Don't know.
Mostly just call them banana.
What do you call them in banana? What do you call them banana in Chinese?
Chinese is like food
Yeah, in your word, in your own language lah.
香蕉.
Chang Xiao.
Xiao. Oh, okay. This is fun. Yeah, Mariam, you still Googling, doesn't it?
I got it. Basically, it's
Okay.
because bananas, they are derived from like a single flower with more than one ovary, while berries are derived from more than one flower. Do you get what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
So we should start a petition then to change bananas to strawberries, strawberries to bananas.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You just messed up my whole childhood, Mariam. Thank you so much.
Very welcome.
All right. Anyone else? Come on, this is fun. I'm not sure about you guys. I think I learned a lot from fun facts.
Doktor.
Yes. Hai. Saya ada seorang je.
Ni ada fun facts yang about kentut membakar 67 kalori, doktor.
Okay. Okay. So how many more I have to fight before I lose my weight?
So don't be shy to kentut lah. Actually, doktor.
Okay, there's a joke that I've seen online before this in an airport. There's someone said in an airport before this, when I farted, I faked to sneeze. To cover up my fart, I sneezed. But now, to cover up my sneeze, I farted. You know why? Who wants to hear you sneeze nowadays? COVID, crazy. So it's safe to fart than sneeze nowadays. Yeah. You get my, come on guys, this is damn funny, my goodness. So it's more safer for you to fart.
Betul.
It's more ethics for you to fart in publics than fart is just smells, doesn't it? But the COVID is just it's much more than that.
So doktor kalau nak bersin tu better kentut lah doktor. Macam tu lah.
I don't know. I mean, how can you fake a farted? Okay, you cannot fake a farted. All right. Anyone else before we end our class? There's a lot of other people yang still not turning on their. Tak apa, it's fine. Kena korang nanti. Zakia, Anis, Hazim dah kena nanti. Aisyah. Hi guys, you still there? Or you went to your pantry already? All right. Okay, if there's no nanti next class, do share more facts, and then the rest of you guys, those that haven't shared, share more. If you want to share, same person want to share more, just by all means go ahead. Okay. If there's nothing, thank you very much for your time today. I'll see you again on Thursday. Yeah. All right. Sorry, Friday. If you have issue,
What time is it, doctor?
12:30 for the time is 12:30. If guys, you have an issue, because maybe some of the states already lifted the ban for MCO, by all means, go ahead to your Friday prayers. You can just ask Afia for the recordings. So if you have any questions and everything, you can just text it the whole group, and then Rachel will pass it to me. Is that okay? Okay, guys, have enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you on Friday. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Thank you.
doctor.
Doktor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, doctor.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Doctor.